Hello, my name is JJ, and I'm a professional musician. I'm a music teacher at an independent school in Lawrenceburg, and I'm a professional musician who plays guitar, bass, and piano.
Whenever you play these instruments, how long do you practice for?
Well, I play my instruments every day. For work, I have to play certain instruments in my teaching practice, but usually I rehearse for about 2 hours a day. Usually an hour on guitar and an hour on piano.
Is there any pain or discomfort whenever you play?
Yes, depending on the songs that I'm playing or how I'm playing, I tend to get pain in my hands and my wrists and my forearms.
Is there any muscle fatigue after you play?
There is, for about 5 minutes to maybe 5 or 20 minutes after. It's really hard to do other things like pick up a glass of water or write, or depends.
Do you feel any kind of muscle strain or fatigue during day-to-day activities?
Generally, I'm okay, but there are times when I have to rehearse a lot depending on a project I might be involved in. And then I could really tell, especially if I'm doing work around the house that's not related to a musical instrument, I do notice I have more pain and soreness.
So from your pain, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is it?
It could be an 8 or 9 right away, but then it'll diminish after that.
So as for your diet, what is that like? Like, do you eat healthy? What kind of foods do you eat?
That's a funny question. Yeah, I eat lots of vegetables and protein, and I tend to drink a lot of water too. So.
How long have you been playing instruments?
Well, I started playing piano when I was 4 or 5, and have been playing steadily piano since then. So about 40 years playing piano and about 25 years playing stringed instruments.
Do you know what carpal tunnel is, and if so, do you think you have it?
Yes and yes. Those two questions. I do know what it is, and I know there are definitely times where either my hands or my wrists or my arms I'm in a lot of pain and are struggling. And I know it's carpal tunnel for sure.
Hi JJ. From what you've described, it sounds like you have carpal tunnel syndrome.
However, we have some exercises that target specific parts of your hand and lower arm, which can help strengthen and relieve tightness and pain.
The most important thing is to do these exercises daily and for the specific amount we suggest, with no excess weight. It is also important that you continue to eat well and have a balanced diet so that the muscles in your hands and lower arm can stay strong to get the nutrients they need to properly function. Some of the necessary muscles that we need to focus on and strengthen are in the wrist and the forearm.
These muscles are the extensor digitorum, extensor carpi uralis, extensor carpi radialis, brevis and longus, parlimis longus, flexor digitorum, profundus, pronator quadratus, easy, pronator teres, brachialis, the flexor carpi radialis, the digimini brevis, the pollis longus, that move the fingers and are found in the forearm and around the palm. We will be focusing greatly on these muscles located in these areas.
This exercise is called the seated wrist hammer curl. In this exercise, sit down with your back straight and place your forearm on your thighs with your thumbs pointed upward. Use a weight between 5 and 20 pounds, whatever works for your body, in a hammer position, and lift it up and down slowly for 3 sets of 20. This will develop your brachioradialis muscle, which inserts at the distal aspect of the forearm at the wrist. The brachioradialis is the flexor muscle of your forearm. Greater hypertrophy of this muscle will give more definition and balance in the forearm, allowing for a stronger foundation for when you are playing the piano and guitar for long hours. Do not use more weight than told, and do not do more sets, because too much can be harmful to the brachioradialis muscle. Proper form is key, so you do not damage any tissue or muscle in an unnatural way.
Oh my God. This exercise is called the seated wrist straight curl. In this exercise, get into a seated position with your forearms on your thighs and palms facing upward, with a 5 to 10 pound weight in your hand, and flex your wrist upward. Make sure you have range of motion. You must go all the way down and all the way up. Keep the forearms well placed against your thighs for greater stability and isolation of the wrist and forearm musculature. Be careful to place your wrist 3 to 4 inches away from the knee to allow the full range of motion. Do 3 sets of 20. This exercise develops your flexor muscles, such as the flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, flexor carpi ulnaris, flexor digitorum profundus, and the flexor digitorum. Once these muscles are strengthened, you will notice greater stability in your forearm and mainly your wrist, and less weakness, resulting in pain while playing the piano. While doing this exercise, be sure not to use anything over 20 pounds. You want to use the right weight for you, but too much could be extremely dangerous and overwork the muscles, leading them to become more damaged and weakening them even more than they already are. Also, make sure to come straight forward and not to the sides, because that is an unnatural way of moving your wrist and can worsen the condition.
Exercise is called the seated reverse wrist curl. This exercise is done in a seated position with your forearms on your thigh, palms facing downwards, with the wrist 3 to 4 inches away from your knees. Grasp the weight and extend the wrist fully. Do this for 3 sets of 20 and be sure not to lift the elbows from the thighs when extending the wrists. Keep the palms down. This exercise develops your extensor muscles such as the extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis, and extensor carpi ulnaris. This will also help to increase strength so that you have a strong foundation when playing the piano and take away any weakness that might be contributing to your pain as you play, and hopefully loosen the previously tightened muscles as they are working and rebuilding. When doing this exercise, make sure that your elbow is pressed against your thigh and that you have full range of motion, but do not go side to side, as that can be harmful. Make sure you have proper form because this exercise is a hyperextension of your wrist. The extensor and flexor muscles are synergists, and it is important to work both of them through the seated wrist curls.
This exercise is called the finger curls. Simply sit and hold a 5, 10, or 15-pound weight in your hand, whatever works best for you. Turn your hand with the palm upward and the back of your wrist on your thigh. Allow weight to roll down your fingers and curl your fingers back, holding the weight securely. Remember to keep the back of your wrist against your thigh throughout the execution of the exercise. Use weight which you can effectively control and execute through the exercise properly. This exercise is very simple and will develop finger and hand strength for piano playing. The primary muscles this works are the extensor digitorum, the abductor pollicis, and the other flexor muscles in the hand. Make sure your palm stays facing upwards. It is the supination of the hand.
This exercise is called squeeze the tennis ball. In this exercise, grasp the ball in the palm of your right hand, spacing your fingers and thumb equally around the ball. Squeeze the ball as hard as you can, applying equal pressure with all your fingers. Hold the squeeze up to 5 seconds, release and repeat 10 to 15 times before switching to the left hand. This process is flexation of the finger muscles. This exercise allows your key gripping muscles to become stronger, which include 1 extensor muscle, the digitorum, and 5 flexor muscles, the digiti mini brevis, pollicis longus, digitorum superficialis, and digitorum profundus. This resulting strength will allow for stronger muscle control. For this exercise, make sure you have a tennis ball that has a little slack so that you're not hurting your hand by trying to squeeze it too hard.
This exercise is called flatten the hand and fingers against the surface. For this exercise, you simply place your hand down on the table, then flatten the hand against the surface as much as possible. You hold that for 45 seconds. This exercise strengthens the extensor digitorum and will help strengthen the fingers and muscles used for piano playing, as well as that for any other daily task. This exercise is called the rubber band thumb extension. Take a rubber band and wrap it around your hand at the base of the fingers. Extend the thumb and hold it before bringing it back in. Do this for 10 to 15 reps. 2 to 3 times per week, but give your hand 2 days to rest in between the grasps. This works the abductor pollicis brevis muscle, which is the primary muscle that moves the thumb away from the palm in any direction. This process is the adduction of the thumb. This exercise will help you with tightness and strain your thumb while playing, and as well as the versatile motion and dexterity that comes with piano playing.
This exercise is called the thumb to pinky touches. This works the extensor digitorum and the flexor digitorum superficialis muscles, as well as the flexor muscles in the hand. These touches are the flexation of the abductor pollicis brevis, flexor pollicis brevis, and abductor digiti minimi brevis. This exercise will help strengthen your flexor muscles in your hand to give a strong muscular foundation for your musical playing as well as daily exercises. Make sure to do this for 1 minute for 3 sets each day.
The cool down is one of the most important parts of exercising because it provides the body with a smooth transition from exercise back to a steady state of rest. The overarching goal is to reduce heat and breathing rates and gradually cool body temperature, return muscles to their optimal length extension relationships, and restore physiologic systems that you have worked close to baseline. This stretch is simply called make a fist. Simply make a fist for 30 seconds and do 2 sets for a total of 1 minute. Then open and close your fingers. This is abduction as well as adduction of the fingers. Do this for 30 seconds as well, 2 sets for a total of 1 minute. These two simple exercises simply stretch the extensor digitorum, but also the flexor digitorum profundus, palmaris longus, flexor carpi ulnaris, and lumbrical muscles. This stretch is called flexing of the wrist. In this stretch, simply put your arms out straight in front of you and flex your wrists downwards, keeping your fingers straight. Flex your wrist and hold in maximum flex for 30 seconds with the elbow straight but not locked, 2 sets of 30 seconds each. When doing this exercise, make sure you do not twist to the sides. This is strictly a downwards motion. This exercise will help to stretch the muscles in the wrist and lower forearm that are causing you pain when you are playing. This stretch is called extension of the wrist. In this stretch, put your arms straight ahead and extend your wrist straight up and then halfway down. Do this for 2 sets for 30 seconds.